Thank you very much indeed. Nice to see everybody. Nice to see one of you is on a beach. Great to see the umbrellas are floating around there. Fantastic for you joining us today. So, going to crack straight on. We should be with you for about 60 minutes, maybe 75 to see how we go. Feel free to ask any questions. I can't guarantee that I'll answer them during the presentation, but I'll certainly get back to you afterwards because I'll get a note of all the questions that come through. So as you can see, we're talking about AI today. It's a topic that everybody's talking about at the moment. You can't ignore it. It's on the news. It's literally everywhere. So what I want to try and do is demystify some of it today. And I'm acutely conscious that some of you on this call today are pretty nervous about AI, to be honest, and would rather not go anywhere near it. And there are others who are, we've got some more joining. Let's just get them all in. And there are others who are already doing it and quite involved. So I'm going to try and make sure that there's something for absolutely everybody today. And that you'll get some value out of it. That's really, really important to me. But we're going to look at it from a slightly different angle in terms of how we can use it to support us in our marketing, in our lead generation, in our branding, and also in our client communications as well, which is going to be quite important. Very briefly, there's quite a few names that I recognize on the call today. Nice to see you guys. Quite a few that I've not met before. For those that where we've not met before, very briefly, I've been working with financial advisors for well over 45 years now. I'm the founder of Life Talk, and I think most of you have found us today through the Life Talk group on Facebook or indeed the Life Talk group on LinkedIn. We also have a separate community, which we started at the beginning of this year, which is a chargeable subscription community, the Advisor Growth Community, which is much more focused on financial advisors who are going through perhaps a period of change or transition in their businesses and looking for help and support with that. It's far less technical. The main Life Talk group seems to focus quite a lot on technical issues these days, but the Advisor Growth is basically what it does on the tin. Also got a brand new group which is only a week old. It's not just for financial advisors, called the AI Prompt Vault, and it again does what it says on the tin. It is really to help anybody, not just financial advisors, who are looking to make better use of prompt engineering, which is something we'll talk about, the instructions that you give to an AI to make it do its thing. The difference that you get, it's the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. The better the quality of your prompting, the questions that you give your AI, the better the results as well. I've written a few books. I've presented to quite a few financial advisors around the world. And I thought just for you guys turning up today, which I really appreciate, I'm going to make sure that every single one of you gets a copy of this book, The Financial Advisor's Roadmap to AI Adoption. We'll send you a PDF copy of that later, just for turning up today. So thank you, and I really appreciate you doing that. So broadly speaking, what are we going to cover? What is AI? We keep hearing about these words. We keep hearing about artificial intelligence, but it's worth just having a little look at so kind of where it came from and the different types of AI that are out there. How's it being used in a variety of different industries, and how financial advisors can use it and use it right now. But what I want to do, first of all, is get straight to the heart of the matter and deal with really the elephant in the room when it comes to financial planning, financial advice, and AI. And a lot of people have got a lot of questions around AI. What can it do? What will it do? Will it take our jobs? All those kind of questions. And I just want to put this in context right now as to what AI can do right now. And I mean right now. And by the way, I created that picture on the right using AI. We'll talk a little bit about AI art in a minute or two. But right now, AI can read, it can write, it can see, it can hear and understand what we say to it. It can speak and it can debate with other humans. It can smell. And the way that's being used is in medicine. There's a number of studies going on where just from a single smell of someone's breath, an AI can predict specific illnesses that may be coming. It can touch and it can feel, and it can be extremely delicate in what it do. It can move, it can play games, it can understand emotions, and this is a really interesting one that I see a lot of financial advisors saying, oh, AI, yeah, it doesn't really empathize. It can do that as well. And it can read your mind. And we'll talk a little bit more about how it can read people's minds a little bit later, and how you will be able to use that as financial planners moving forwards. Now, some might say, well, AI isn't human. Well, if you look at that list, I would say it can already exhibit a lot of characteristics that humans already have. So, yes, the question is, will it take all our jobs? Or maybe we should turn the question around and reframe it a bit and say, okay, given that it can do all this, how can it help us as financial planners? What it can also do is help you plan your dinner as well. If you're my son and you take a picture of the inside of your fridge and you go to ChatGPT and show ChatGPT that picture and say, these are the contents of my fridge right now, what could I make for dinner? It will analyze it, and it will not only tell you what you could make based on what's in your fridge right now, but it will give you the recipes as well. So you might find that useful, you might not find it useful. But I think for financial advisors, the danger is there is a certain amount of burying heads in sand in some parts of the profession. There is, amongst a lot of people, this concept that we feel that AI, yeah, it's coming down the tracks, it'll be with us in a year or two, when in fact it's here right now, and it's been here for quite some time in a variety of different shapes or forms. If we think that AI is something that's coming in the future that will impact us in the future, we really got to take our heads out of the sand when it comes to that. Ignoring it simply isn't an option, and not taking some time to actually learn about it and to learn about how you can use it in our businesses. And, we all know we've even had whole conferences on this. Ian McKenna ran a fantastic conference this year about AI for financial advisors, financial planners, and if we've already got to the point where we're having conferences about AI in the world of financial planning, then it is really not something that we can ignore. Now, I kind of first got into it we've always been into photography in our family. My brother is a world-renowned portrait photographer. I used to do rock concert photography. My dad used to do photography as well. And I've just sort of found that with AI, I can create some pieces of art. Now, whether it is art or not is entirely questionable, but the simple fact of the matter is I enjoy it. And here's just a few things that I've created using a variety of different AI tools, which, as far as I'm concerned, I quite enjoy them. I've set up a separate Instagram account just for my AI art that I'm creating, and I just enjoy doing it. And I realized very early on that the better the prompt, the instructions, the better result I get out of it at the end of the day. And these are just a few things that I've put together. I know, yeah, some of it's quite dark, I appreciate that, but I'm just experimenting with it and quite keen to discover what I can do with it. As I said, I've set up a separate Instagram account where I put these things up. And then one particular afternoon, I get a message on Instagram out of the blue from a complete stranger. And they said to me, Phil, I'm quite enjoying your art pictures. How much would it be for you to print up a large canvas of that picture top right? What would you charge me? And I thought, goodness, I hadn't even thought. I'm just doing this for a bit of fun. And yet out of the blue, someone wants to give me money for something that I have created. And that really got me thinking about all the different opportunities that AI creates for us. And I've spent about the last year really thinking deeply about this as to, well, what other ways could financial advisors make money by using AI? And we will cover off some of that as we go today. So that's my showing off bit out of the way. And let's just sort of dig a bit deeper now. It's not over egging it to say that we really are in a new industrial revolution when it comes to professional services and professional services marketing. Of course, AI has been talked about for quite some time. The first AI academic conference was in 1956, where even people like Alan Turing were discussing whether or not machines could actually think. Now, we now know that machines don't think, but there's a lot of very complicated maths going on that makes it look like machines are thinking. And we have these expressions thrown. I saw this lovely little cartoon. Are you concerned about the increase in artificial intelligence? No, but I'm concerned about the decrease in real intelligence. And I certainly find a lot of the things that I used to do in my day-to-day work which involved me having to do quite a bit of thinking and some real creativity. I don't need to do that much anymore. There are huge numbers of things that we can do in our day-to-day lives now that we can get an AI to do for us or to do part of it for us, which we then finesse and finish off. I don't know if any of you know Daniel Priestley, but what he quite often talks about with AI is that when you are using AI to do any particular task, think of it as a bit like baking a cake. The AI bakes the cake, but once we've taken it out of the oven, we, the humans, do the finessing, we do the icing, and we beautify it and make it fit for eating or whatever, as the case may be. So let's try and get some definitions as to what AI actually is. Now, if you search around the internet, you can cobble together something that will pretty well come a bit like this. AI is the simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems that perform tasks that we would normally require human intelligence. The more data you give it, the more intelligent it becomes. So and the word simulation crops up quite a lot. If we ask someone who actually knows what they're talking about, Sulab at Deloitte, at its most basic, AI is software that mimics and generates human behaviors, planning, generating ideas, understanding speech. Its ability to scale human intellect will have a profound impact. Ginny, former CEO of IBM, some people call this artificial intelligence, but the reality is this is technology will enhance us. So instead of artificial intelligence, I think we'll augment our own intelligence. Now, other people have other views, and it's worth hearing them as well to get a balanced view on this. Stephen Hawking said the development of full artificial intelligence would spell the end of the human race. It would take off on its own and redesign itself at an ever-increasing rate. And that is something that keeps coming up in news items. Now, I think when you're doing a presentation, when you're trying to communicate ideas and perhaps inspiration, when we start throwing in phrases like this technology will spell the end of the human race, that can be a bit of a downer, and some people will switch off straight away. But it's important that we do have a balanced view on this. Ultimately, this is going to make us more efficient. My productivity levels have just gone through the roof as a result of using AI in a different, and I think we've only just started scratching the surface of this, to be really quite honest. I think most of us began to realize, and this started to happen during the pandemic, where we realized that we were working with at home, we had to make use of technology. Financial advisors that were saying you could never deal with a client in any other way other than face-to-face, realize actually we can do things different ways. And that gives us options, and it also gives different clients different options in terms of how they engage with us. But it is about efficiency. It is about leveraging technology. And here's a very simple example. The person on the right and the person on the left are both trying to go from point A to point B. There is a fair chance that the person on the left, because he is leveraging technology, will get to point B a lot quicker than the person on the right. We are leveraging technology when it comes to AI. But in fact, when it comes to AI, the technology goes at a completely different rate. It's like a human being, not just racing against someone on a bike, but someone who is in a supercar. It's that powerful. If we feel that AI is not already controlling us as individuals, we are wildly wrong. Any of you who are on Facebook will know that Facebook decides what you see when you are on the side. Really interesting. Even in our life talk group, I see quite often people asking the exact same question in the same thread because Facebook has decided not to show, for whatever reason, people the same content. So Facebook decides, for the most part, what you see. If you're on Instagram, it decides what you see. Now, they feel, as organizations, they are doing you a useful thing. They are showing you more of what you want to see. But we all know that in society, more broadly, being shown more of what you want to see is not necessarily a good idea. Even LinkedIn does it as well. And you might be wondering, well, why is there a picture of the Eiffel Tower on the right? Those of you that are on TikTok may be interested to know that the average TikTok user scrolls on their phone the distance of 5 times the height of the Eiffel Tower every single day. That is just monotonous, mindless scrolling 5 times the height of the Eiffel Tower every single day. We have a latecomer, but we'll let them in. So AI is already controlling us in a variety of different ways. So let's look at the 3 different types of AI that we have. First of all, we have narrow AI, which is something that most of us are all pretty familiar with. Narrow AI is basically technology that does one thing really quite well. And you can see some examples there of really what narrow AI is. If you look at Siri and Alexa, for example, they will, as time goes by, they will become very much more sophisticated and they will come out of the narrow AI box. Music suggestions is a really interesting one. Those of you that are on Spotify, I never cease to be amazed by the number of heavy metal bands that Spotify tells me I need to know about that I never knew I needed to know about it. It's very, very clever. It's very, very smart. So that's what narrow AI is, technology that does one thing really, really well. Then the next type of AI is general AI. There is a school of thought that we haven't quite reached general AI yet. And the thinking behind what general AI is that it will be essentially one AI tool that can use multiple other tools to fulfill the task that you want to do. So, for example, let's use an example. Let's say you want to go on holiday next year and you would quite like to, I don't know, cruise around the Greek islands. You could go to your AI tool and say to it, that's what you want to do, and give it some detailed instructions of what you want it to do. And it will book your flights to Greece. It will charter the yachts. It will get the crew. It will find stop-off points and restaurants where you'll want to go to. It will literally plan the whole thing. And I know I have 1 or 2 friends who are already using AI to completely organize their holidays for them. And one particular person said he was looking to find some places that not many people know about throughout Europe, which are really worth a visit. And he said it was extraordinary how accurate the AI tools were to do this. So this is what we're really moving towards, where we have almost full-time tools that are at our disposal to do a variety of quite complicated tasks. We are getting very close to general AI. Sam Altman at OpenAI, who run ChatGPT, says we're very close to it, but there's no question that if we're not there already, we will have some very, very sophisticated tools at our disposal pretty well any time now. Then we go to the third level of AI, known as superintelligence, which we are probably some way off right now. But we'll get there in the end. And as I said, even now, a lot of AI tools can do some quite in-depth things. But that one there, for example, running a government, superintelligence will be at a point where you could actually have an AI tool that literally runs a government perfectly and runs a perfect society in all sorts of different ways. A scientist who could solve really deep problems, cure all diseases, literally understand the universe, and maybe even create new technologies, new energies, ideas that are way outside our comprehension right now, maybe the sort of stuff of Star Trek and so on and so forth. So that's a bit of a way off, but our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren and so on will have got all that to look forward to. Now, in terms of the speed of growth this has been going on, it's really quite fascinating. So 20 years or so ago, the people who put together the Deep Blue project, a computer program, set out to create a computer that could play chess and actually beat a grandmaster. And they did. The Deep Blue program beat Garry Kasparov eventually, but it took 18 years of programming and development to actually get to that point. And when it happened, everyone was amazed, all over the news. Isn't it amazing what technology can do? Box ticked. More recently, Those of you that, if you play any online games, if you play online chess at all, one of the chess programs that you'll be playing against is called Stockfish. Stockfish is technically the best chess player in the world. So a new team at Alpha Zero decided, okay, let's see if we can repeat the Deep Blue experiment, and let's see if we can create a computer program that can beat the best chess player in the world, and let's see how long we can do it. And you can see for yourself there, the Alpha Zero AI took 4 hours from scratch to learn how to play chess and then actually beat the best chess player in the world. So the speed of development is quite extraordinary. And we are starting already to see very, very real benefits from use of AI, particularly in health. The main area is in accuracy of diagnosis, where scans can be done much, much earlier than they are being done at the moment, to predict whether or not somebody will have particular illnesses or anything like that. We still have people arriving, which is really nice. Let's let them in. Fantastic. So in health, that's really very, very exciting. Now, I mentioned earlier that an AI can read minds. An experiment that was done not all that long ago, where a monkey was wired up to some analysis tool. They were measuring the monkey's brain waves. And the scientists concerned wanted to get a generative AI tool to analyze the brain waves of the monkey and create images of what the monkey was looking at. I hope that makes some sense. So in that top row there, they took photos of what the monkey was actually looking at. The brain waves were analyzed, and the AI tool generated images, just like I generate images for my little art project. This is what the AI tool generated from what it could figure out from the brainwaves. And that's pretty amazing. They recreated what the monkey was actually looking at using a generative AI tool. Now, that may all sound like, well, that's a neat trick. What possible value could there be in that? Well, certainly for people with disabilities, people who may have communication problems, for psychologists, there are potentially all sorts of benefits of using this. So I really got thinking, well, some way in the future where we are all using tools like this, how could this benefit financial planners? Well, first things, theoretically, you could better understand clients' emotions and reactions to what you're actually saying to them if you could almost see into their minds. And I appreciate some of this might sound a bit wacky. The simple fact is they're already doing it. We might be able to better understand and literally see clients' goals and ambitions. And that means that we can then highly personalize services and our communication preferences to individual clients. And we could better understand and assess how well a client actually understands and feels about a plan that we might be presenting to them. Clients who don't wish to, or who can't perhaps express themselves particularly well verbally, again, technology like this could be really powerful and valuable to us as we move forward. AI is already starting to be used in a variety of other ways, particularly in fraud and finance. It will be particularly good at detecting suspicious activity, spotting fake ID, identifying potential compliance issue. I think underwriting is ripe for use of AI in a variety of different ways as well. So certainly in fraud and finance, there's all sorts of potential there as well. And more widely in society, I mean, how long have we got? Already AI is being used in a variety of different ways. So for example, I mentioned earlier that AI can hear, it can actually listen. There are some towns in the US where they are using AI tools to listen out for gunshots. in particular neighborhoods. And the AI tool can recognize gunshots and it can alert authorities much, much faster. So you can see ways that potentially use there. Particularly in traffic flow, reducing accidents, optimizing crop yields, personalized learning experience for students, that's already being used quite a lot, and monitoring the environment and the weather in all sorts of different ways. And more basically, practical uses, maybe you're stuck in a car park and you don't understand what the signs are. If you looked at that, you'd be trying to figure out for hours, can I actually park here today? So you can take a picture of it, show it to ChatGPT and say, it's Wednesday at 4, can I park at this spot right now? And let it do the figuring out. So big picture issues, but also some very real issues and things that we can do right now. So let's just go back to this slide, and I just want to focus on generative language because I think this is a real opportunity for financial advisors as we go forward. Generative is the G in GPT. Generative pre-trained transformer. And there are a variety of tools that are already available to you. Some of you may already be using these. The main ones are ChatGPT. DALL-E is one of the ones that I use for creating art. Google Gemini is increasingly popular now. Copilot, I know quite a few financial advisors use that. And if you're not using Claude, Claude is another really useful one to try and get your head around. So they create new content based on content that it has been fed into from all around the world. So GPT, generative pre-trained transformer, trained to generate new content such as text, images, audio, and more based on data it has been trained on. Now, let's just imagine that you're a member of the public and you are increasingly hearing about AI, and maybe you use ChatGPT to some extent. There is no reason why you can't go to ChatGPT and ask it a question about retirement planning or pension planning or general education around personal finance. Now, ChatGPT will give that person quite a good reply, quite a good response, and it's just getting better and better and better. But wouldn't it be better still if it actually gave response based on your personal expertise and training? It is now possible to create your own AI tool that is trained on your own knowledge, your own website, your own blogs, your own articles, your own content that you have created. Wouldn't that be a better thing if the AI was using your content and is branded up as you, instead of just going for generic results that ChatGPT will give you? Well, that's now possible as well. We'll talk a bit more about that as we go. The main benefits of financial advisors, and what's really interesting is, there are so many tools. I think one thing that financial advisors say to me more than anything else is, I am beginning to experience a bit of overwhelm when it comes to all these tools. There are so many of them. Ian McKenna's fabulous conference, there are a lot of exhibitors there with all sorts of fantastic tools and services that you can buy. But at some point, we're going to have to do some real deep thinking about, well, which tools do we actually want to use? But for me, I think the main ones we're going to be able to use at the moment is for marketing. Get more marketing done, productivity, get stuff done much, much faster than we've ever done before. We can actually personalize our communications far better than ever before. And yes, you can use it for client onboarding and data analysis. If you've ever played around with ChatGPT just to analyze some data on a spreadsheet, it's amazing what it can do. And not only can it analyze the data, it will then ask you, well, would you like me to do this? And would you like me to do this? And it actually thinks through its own ideas as to how else you might like to interrogate particular data that you've put in front of it. So let's just think about this from a marketing perspective as well. This is a slide that I show a lot. It's the process by which a consumer might find a financial advisor, get to know the financial advisor, and then build enough trust to actually work with it. Now, a lot of different businesses, particularly in professional services, use value ladders like this. So, for example, a dentist might have this as a value ladder. My dad was a dentist, and for him, he said there was no money at all. It was, in fact, it was unprofitable to do any work on the NHS at all. So what he wanted was a few private clients as well who were prepared to pay much, much bigger market money for cosmetic work as well. But what a lot of dentists do these days is they just want to get you in the building, and they offer you free stuff. Let's call it a lead magnet, for want of a better expression. So what a lot of dentists will do now is offer free teeth cleaning, maybe even free teeth whitening. When my dad was in practice, teeth whitening was pretty well near the top of the list. Expensive stuff. These days, teeth whitening, 2 a penny. So a lot of dentists these days, just to get you in, to build the relationship, build the trust, they get you in and they give this stuff away free. And once they realize, yeah, you're great, you're trustworthy, you're pretty good at what you do, then you're much more likely to progress up the ladder to the more expensive stuff as well. Chiropractors do this as well. What chiropractors really want you to do is to get you to come along to their long weekend wellness retreat, which is really expensive in a nice hotel, maybe with some nice yoga as well, maybe a celebrity chef. That's where they really want you to spend the money. But to get you to spend that kind of money, they've got to get you in the building first. So maybe free consultations, maybe a free massage. Gyms have a value ladder as well. Now, I have a value ladder for financial advisors. This is my value ladder. At the bottom of the ladder is our Life Talk group on Facebook, which, although it's free, provides colossal value to financial advisors, literally colossal value. But the stuff in green is other value that I generally give away, maybe an ebook, maybe podcast, using a scorecard tool. Maybe I'll give away some books or ebooks, maybe a webinar like this, for example, maybe use of my own AI tool I've got. Then the stuff in blue, you start having to get your credit card out for. A premium newsletter, a chargeable webinar, the advisor growth community, which is a subscription group, maybe live in-person workshops. Where I really want to take you is to the very, very top, where financial advisors come along to my long weekend retreat, deep dive marketing retreat. Starts on a Friday lunchtime, and it is deep dive all about marketing. But no one's going to fork out for that until they've experienced some of the other stuff along the way. So that is my value ladder that's going on in a variety of different places on the internet where financial advisors hang out, and it's there all of the time. Now, I think financial advisors could and probably should do exactly the same thing. And these are just a few ideas that I have that financial advisors could use for their own value ladder. Now, what's really interesting is I'm not suggesting you do all of those things, but what I am suggesting is that you maybe do 2 or 3 of them, or maybe 3 or 4 of them. Yes, there are financial advisors around the world who also have their own deep dive weekend financial planning retreats. I know a financial planner in the United States who charges $20,000 for a long weekend deep dive into financial planning. Now, you might be thinking, who's going to pay $20,000 to come away for the weekend with a financial advisor? There are plenty of people. He has a waiting list of at least 6 months long. As a separate matter, personally, I think this is a real opportunity for financial advisors, particularly financial advisors who are perhaps a bit uncomfortable with the current business model as well, and maybe looking for other ways to serve a wider group of people, but we'll talk more about that as well. So some financial advisors have got on their website an e-guide or a tips book. And the idea is that people come and visit your website and you say to them, hey, give us your email address. You can download our free e-guide. 20 tips for business owners to think about before retiring. It's a fair exchange of value. You get their email address, they get some value. That is a lead magnet by any other name. And I think lead magnet sounds a bit salesy. I get all that. But the point I'm getting at is that here are some other things that you can do to bring people into your world. Now, I've been doing talks and marketing workshops for 45 plus years. And for the most part, I get financial advisors nodding away saying, yeah, I get that, Phil. Yeah, maybe we'll give that a go. The thing is, what I happen to know is that with the best will in the world, even if you like some of these ideas, the vast majority of financial advisors will never get this stuff done. For all the reasons we know. It's not your fault or anything like that. It's because you haven't necessarily got the time, necessarily got the inclination, maybe not the resource. There's a whole bunch of different reasons why you might not actually get this stuff done. And that's fair enough. But here's the wonderful thing about AI. You could get almost everything on that list done in an afternoon by using something like ChatGPT. Literally, you can do that. You can have an e-guide written, aimed at your ideal client in 30 seconds. You can get a tips book done in 30 seconds. You can write an ebook. You can create new newsletters. You can build a scorecard. You can create scripts for videos. You can get it all done in seconds, if not minutes. And I think this is, to me, one of the beautiful things about AI is that we now have the tools that essentially give us a free another member of staff to help us get this stuff done, to get this marketing stuff done that will make us even more appealing to consumers out there. And yes, if you feel that you want to look at new markets and serve people who wouldn't necessarily go to a financial planner, you can do that as well. And I'll show you how you can do that in just a moment. And some of you know Martin Bamford. He wrote his books as lead magnets, essentially, to bring people into informed choice financial planning. He did those before ChatGPT. Some of you know Catherine Morgan. She does a lot of financial coaching. She's a big focus on financial planning for women. She uses these and free challenges as lead magnets. The daddy of online content in the financial advisor market, Pete Matthew, he's been doing his podcasts, he's been doing his videos, he's got a successful online community as well. These are lead magnets by any other, whatever way you want to do it. The thing was really, really interesting, and I see we've got Paul on this call, Paul Clare on this call today. You know, he's an expert on creating content. And you know, go to him if you'd like some professionally put together content. He will do it. But what I'm really getting at is, as financial advisors, we need to be doing this stuff. Let's not just leave it to Pete and Martin and Catherine and a few others. Get this stuff out there. But thanks to AI and thanks to people like Paul, we can get this stuff done now. So any of these particular activities, which are essentially marketing activities, you can get AI to do this for you. And not just get it done well and get it done, but we've got to polish it ourselves. You know, there's no question about it, but it just goes on and on. That one at the top of this, press releases, one of the best marketing tactics that financial advisors can use is sending out press releases. And when I first went self-employed 100 years ago, a friend of mine said to me, Phil, what's your PR strategy? And that went straight over my head. I had no idea what she even meant. And she said, get in the habit of telling the press everything you do in your business, however trivial. If you're sponsoring the local kids football team, tell the press. If you sent 2 of your members of staff on a customer service course, tell the press. If you won a money marketing award, tell the press. You painted the outside of your office, tell the press. Tell the press, tell the press. She then went on to tell me that 90% of what you tell the press won't actually end up in the press. But what you're actually doing is you are building relationships with the press, so that when something really big happens at a national level or indeed a local level, who do you think the press are going to turn to for expert comment? They're going to turn to people with whom they have a relationship. We have a golden opportunity. The budget is coming up. This is going to be one of the most interesting budgets that we've seen for many, many years. All sorts of predictions about what it's going to be in. And fantastic to see people like Phil Bray of the Yardstick Agency already offering services to financial advisors to get your press releases out. Now, here's the really cool thing. A lot of I can say to financial advisors, you should be writing press releases, but I get blank look quite a lot of the time. They're saying, well, how do I do that? What's a press release look like? Go to ChatGPT and tell them you've just sponsored the local kids football team, give it a load of information and get it to write your press releases. And get to the point where sending out press releases about what you are doing in your financial advice business, get in the habit of doing that every single month, if not more regularly. So hopefully you can see I'm quite passionate about this. I think we have reached a golden opportunity era for financial advisors to really get the message about what value it is that they offer to, yes, their target clients, yes, the people they actually want to take on board, but also the wider market as well. And some of this content that you have created, you can sell it to people as well. Okay, so we talked a bit about using ChatGPT. It all comes down to, as I mentioned earlier, garbage in, you'll get garbage out. A new skill that we need to know how to use is called prompt engineering. If you go onto YouTube and type in prompt engineering, you will go down rabbit holes the like of which you have never seen before. It is the art of giving an instruction to your AI to get the best possible result afterwards. And believe me, it is an art. I discovered very, very quickly when I was doing my my AI art, I got a lot of garbage coming out. But the better I've got it, the description of what I want, the better quality comes out at the other end. And here are just some simple examples about sort of things you can ask it. So, for example, write a 500-word blog aimed at owners of small technology businesses in the northeast of England, turning over up to 1 million, who are beginning to think about pension planning but don't know how to get started. Now, that might sound like quite a detailed prompt. It'll do, but really it needs to be much more detailed. What are some great research topics about releasing equity from my property for retirement purposes? Give me 10 video ideas that can help me. In the budget today, the Chancellor announced whatever. Suggest 5 unexpected ways that this might impact clients who are whatever, and write a 500-word. Make it fun but informative. So this is how prompts start to develop. Now, over in our new prompt vault, we are gradually releasing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of prompts that you can use to help you in your financial advice business, not just your business, but lots of other businesses as well. So, and these are really simple ones, just a few examples that you might just want to play with in terms of your business. Brainstorm and list the market opportunities and target client segments for a financial planning business in the UK that most are looking. Play around with that one. Here's another one. Analyze cash flow modeling and give me 5 ideas on how to make this interesting and engaging content as part of the promotion of my services as a lifestyle financial planning. Play around with that one. Break down a particular topic into smaller, easier to understand parts, use analogies and real life examples to simplify the concept and make it more relatable. Play around with that one. One thing you will find is ChatGPT and Claude are really good at creating analogies. Absolutely fantastic in terms of simplifying what it is that you do as a financial planner so that people can better understand it. And you can just gradually put layers and layers of detail onto it to make the prompt much, much more detailed. Now, here's one of my fun ones that you might want to play around with. Provide me with an amusing and useful transcript of a hypothetical debate between 3 of my clients, where they're talking about my business, which they use to and describe the value. So that's sort of part one of it. Then add a bit more. For context, sometimes clients tell us whatever. And some of the known challenges in my businesses are whatever. And then put another layer on top, include an introduction viewpoint of each person. So you can see that we are putting layer upon layer onto the prompt and making it more and more detailed. If you want to join the prompt vault, I'll send you a link to it later. And as I said, we've got hundreds and hundreds of these things that are gradually being released over time. Okay, so we're 50 minutes in. Thank you very much so far. Let's have a look at some new things that we can do with AI that I've hinted at already, but I think can go a long way to really taking our businesses forward in terms of marketing and communication. I'll look at 3 things particularly. First of all, search engines. Some of you might see me saying about how some financial advisors are beginning to appear in AI search results. Some new market opportunities and the concept of creating clones of you, which really starts to sound a bit weird, but it's very, very exciting. So first of all, search engines. As consumers get more and more comfortable using ChatGPT, they are now more and more comfortable using it to search. And I'm now starting to see multiple examples where financial advisors are telling me that they have attracted new clients because they came up in search results. Yes, if you go to people like Phil Bray, they will do a very good job of making your website visible in search results in a variety of different ways, optimizing the keywords and so on and so forth. Optimizing your website to be found in an AI search result is a slightly different matter and requires some slightly different skills and some slightly different ways of approaching it. The main thing is optimizing a website for what people might actually type in or say to ChatGPT, because you can talk to ChatGPT. You don't have to type in your prompts. You can talk to it as well. And what ChatGPT is more likely to do is to show results from websites where natural language is being used on websites. Now, I've got, some of you know this, I've got a hobby horse thing that many financial advisors' websites all say exactly the same thing. I can do like a party piece where I can write the About Us page or most financial advisors without actually having met them, because they all say the same thing. Now, we've now got an opportunity to really start to differentiate ourselves by using much more natural language in terms of how we do this. So this is something that we really need to be thinking about. I've got a guide on it on how to do this. It's quite easy for you to do it, but just keep that in mind. Now, new markets. To me, this is the really big opportunity for financial advisors. And what is fascinating is I am now starting to see this conversation taking place in the Life Talk Facebook group, not on a daily basis, but my goodness, it's happening a lot, where financial advisors are beginning to say, you know, is the current fee model the right way of doing it? The regulation that we're now facing is bearing down on us like you wouldn't believe. And is it actually possible to scale our business in any way, shape, or form? I believe it is. I think there's all sorts of new ways of bringing our services out to a wider group of people who might not normally go to a financial planner for all the different reasons that we know. And I think because of AI, we can do some very exciting things that not only take our business forward, but develop completely new income streams, develop completely new propositions that you either run separately or alongside or instead of. And the number of conversations that I'm having with people right now are absolutely fantastic. And there are huge opportunities. So I think the real key is to look for opportunities where you can get monthly recurring revenue. If any of you are not yet convinced by the value of having a business that runs on monthly recurring revenue, I urge you to get a book called The Automatic Customer. That's The Automatic Customer by a guy called John Warrilow, Warrilow. It will teach you all about why monthly recurring revenue businesses work, how to make them work, and obviously they use examples like Amazon and Netflix and so on and so forth. And there is literally no earthly reason why a financial planning business can't work on this particular basis as well. Thank you, Dan. Great to see that you've already got it on your bookshelf. Great stuff. So what are the potential ways that you could do this? I prefer to take this from a completely different way than many might be thinking. I think education is key. We all know this. We all know that there are millions of people out there whose personal financial education needs a lot of work. Yeah, we're not doing anything like enough work on personal finance education in schools. It's getting better, but we all know that if people were better educated on personal finance issues and financial planning, we'd all be a lot better for it, to be quite honest. So educational courses, seminars and public speaking, individual and group coaching, yes, deep dive weekend retreats, community membership. Pete Matthew has his own online community, which he's doing very nicely from. Thank you very much indeed. Collaboration with local employers, perhaps develop financial wellness programs, getting in partnership with local community organizations and schools, writing books, guides and reports, and chargeable newsletters. You might be thinking, okay, I send out a free newsletter. Why would people pay for it? The chargeable newsletter industry is colossal right now. You have expertise, you have value. Another of my little hobby horses is that far too many financial advisors, the only way your expertise comes across is when you meet a client. Yet the expertise that you have, the credibility that you've built, the knowledge that you've acquired, all that good stuff that you've built over the years can be taken and repackaged and sold to people in a variety of other different ways. So I mentioned Pete Matthew, yeah? You may know he's got the Meaningful Academy as well. He's put it out there on record that he's earning between 15 and 20,000 pounds a month just from his Meaningful Academy. It's his expertise repackaged into online courses. What's not to like? Pete's a nice guy, but not everyone wants to go and see him. And Pete doesn't necessarily want to take on board everybody who wants to see him. So he takes the expertise he has and he sells it to people in other formats. Now, let's give you some more examples of this with some numbers behind it. I also do some work with accountants as well. And if you go to a website like Udemy, which is like it's like YouTube for courses, and you type in accounting, you will find dozens and dozens and dozens of courses on accounting. And here's just one of them: accounting and financial statement analysis complete training. It's had 66,500 students have been through this, and they have paid between £17 and £60. Now, you're the financial advisors, you do the sums there. That's not a small amount of money. Here's another one: accounting from beginner to advanced. 29,000 students, all paying between 20 and 70 pounds for theirs. Not an unsubstantial amount of money. How about this one? The complete personal finance course. Save, protect, make more. 140,000 students have paid a small amount of money for that. Now, these were all created before AI came along. So someone had to put some effort into this to create the different modules and so on and so forth. AI can do this in seconds, if not minutes now. And you can do this, and you can put them on websites like Udemy. You could also approach LinkedIn. You can sell them on LinkedIn. You can sell them anywhere you want to sell them. How about this one? Financial planning, coaching certification. 4,500 students on that one. Personal finance for beginners. This one's relatively new. 32 4 almost 5-star ratings on this. Simple stuff that each and every person watching this course, this call right now today, could create something like this and sell it, either alongside your current proposition or as a completely new proposition. But we have the internet now. We can promote these in a variety of different places as well. How about this one? Personal finance. Learn how to plan your personal finances from a certified public accountant. So I guess that's a US-based one here. 61,000 students have all paid between £16 and £50. Do you get it? Oh, I can see Justin out the corner of my eye. Now, Justin posted onto Facebook yesterday, I think it was. Phil, I want to create my own chatbot based on documents that he's got, that he's created, his videos, his podcasts, and so on and so forth. In other words, what Justin is thinking about here is creating his own AI trained on his own content. And that is fundamentally different, actually, from a chatbot. We've all had the joy of chatting with a chatbot, haven't we, with our bank or whoever. Chatbots are just crap. Let's be honest about that. They are preset answers. They, if you answer yes, it then asks you this question. If you answer no, it answers you this question. They are utterly hopeless. When they first appeared, everyone thought, well, that's pretty exciting. Today, we can do something completely different. We can create, you can even do it on ChatGPT. You can go to ChatGPT and you can create a version of you, literally a version of you. And what you can do with this, you can stick it on your website. It's trained on your content. It will also access the internet as well where it needs to. It can be empathetic, and it can deal with a great deal of complexity as well. And I've built several of these now. And what's really interesting, a lot of financial advisors say to me, "Oh, but an AI isn't empathetic." I would beg to differ on that one. If you ask personalized AI tools like this the same question in a variety of different ways, from friendly and jokingly right through to angrily and aggressively, it will respond accordingly, which is absolutely amazing. We still have people joining this call, which is absolutely fantastic. So start to think about that and ways that you could use it. The main way you could do it is have it sitting on your website. It can answer FAQs. It could answer questions about your office hours. It can provide links to your calendar. People could ask it about who are your advisors, what are their qualifications. It will give information about that. If somebody asks a particular question, you can have it point to particular content on your website or elsewhere. It can collect contact details. It's really, really clever. There's 3 or 4 of these tools that are out there now that you can use. But essentially, on the surface, it looks like a chatbot. Underneath, it is a lot more sophisticated than that. It won't give financial advice, although it could if you wanted it to. You have to train it not to give financial advice. But you can begin to see that a tool like this could be really, really powerful. So it can sit on your website. It can sit on your LinkedIn profile. It can sit on any of your other social media profiles. You can put it wherever you like. It's as simple as that. You could have perhaps a QR code on your business cards where somebody scanned the QR code and it will take them straight through to your AI tool. So these sort of things, like a year ago weren't possible. Yeah, you could create a chatbot, but you couldn't create an AI tool which behaved and acted as you, in your tone, your style. So, for example, different financial advisors have different sort of brand values. Some are really, really sort of academic and detailed, and other financial advisors like a fairly relaxed tone and feel, and you can train your AI tool to behave a bit like that. The next stage is a tool like this, where you can actually have a realistic video avatar that is you actually talking to consumers. One of the particular tools is called Hey Gen. And when I first heard about these ultra realistic video avatars, I thought this is too good to be true. I sent them an email saying, yeah, I'd like to register for this when it comes out. And I went to the Hey Gen website, registered my name, and by email, I received this.
Philip, thank you for showing interest in our ultra-realistic avatar feature. We appreciate your curiosity. We will be in touch soon. By the way, this is an automated video message created with my avatar. Hope you enjoy it and talk to you soon. Hey, Philip.
So that's kind of the future, but the future is here now. And the way he did that, you can set this thing up. You have to take several photos of yourself. You upload it to the particular software, and it will then turn it into what looked to most people, I think, as an ultra realistic version of him. So that's the kind of future, but the future is here now. So just starting to wrap up now. In terms of our immediate future, we're going to see really rapid growth in use of these particular tools. There's real advantage if you start playing around with it and learning it now. Everyone says AI won't disrupt your business unless you've got your head buried in the sand. It's the other advisors that are using AI that will disrupt your business, no question. What I would do is start thinking about more knowledge, building more knowledge, learning about it yourself. Sign up for a newsletter or join our prompt group and learn about it, play around with it, experiment with it. Maybe have an AI advocate in your particular business who's responsible for doing the learning and feeding back to you in your business. I know there's quite a lot of smaller businesses on this call today, but we cannot afford to ignore this, but we have to learn about it. And the big message has got to be use it. but think of it right now as a new office assistant for you. And I just want to show you something really quite interesting. Some screenshots from our Life Talk group on Facebook, literally over the last few days, last couple of weeks. Adam there on Facebook, just a couple of, not all that long, a few days ago, I'm looking to carry out a presentation to a local employer. I wonder if anyone had a PowerPoint presentation. ChatGPT can create that for you. Lee asked a question. I'm keen to develop my corporate advice services now. Just wonder if anyone's put together an in-depth menu of services. ChatGPT can do that for you. James there, you probably saw this post about, wants to get rid of a few clients and communicate clients in a professional and empathetic way. ChatGPT can do all of that as well. Somebody only yesterday, after all, I've got a job interview coming up whereby some of the questions are around client scenarios and how to deal with them. ChatGPT can run an interview with you for your job, to do a pretend interview. Howard, does anyone have a template to help develop a structured mentor program for an advisor? You do that on ChatGPT as well, and there's plenty of tools, mentoring AI tools as well. So all of these day-to-day questions that are coming up in our Facebook group can quite easily be solved using AI tools as well. So I just want to kind of finish where we started. Don't assume it's coming in the future. It's here now. Don't ignore it by any stretch. Please do learn about it. And I think most important, just play around with it. You probably won't feel comfortable putting client data anywhere near it just yet. There are all sorts of solutions being developed by providers and software providers as to how exactly you can do that in a safe environment. But if you're still not comfortable with that, just play around with it and learn how you can do it. What to do next? I'd love you to join the Prompt Vault. I will send you links to all this. I'm not going to do some big sell on you right now. I'll just send you some links on all of this. And if something gets your attention, it would be great to hear from you. Now, I can see one or two who've asked a couple of questions. I will ask you, answer those separately for you and privately. For some reason, I can't turn my own video on. I seem to have two versions of me on this call today. So thank you very much indeed. We've only gone over by a little bit, but I hope you don't mind that. I hope you found it really useful. If you do have any other questions for me, just write to me, philip@philipcalvert.com, or send me a private message, and I'm more than happy to help you out. So thanks very much to everybody. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.